Learn, Speak, English, the podcast.
Have you ever been in a meeting, or perhaps a dinner party, surrounded by native English speakers? The conversation is flowing like a fast river. People are joking, interrupting each other politely, tossing ideas back and forth effortlessly. And there you are. You are translating in your head. You are checking your grammar. By the time you construct your perfect sentence, the topic has changed. You stay silent. Again. It feels awful, doesn't it? That specific feeling of being trapped inside your own head. You know the vocabulary. You passed the exams. Your grammar is likely better than the person sitting next to you. But when you speak, you feel robotic, stiff, unnatural. I know this frustration intimately. I've seen it in the eyes of hundreds of my students over the years. It's the intermediate plateau. It's that painful gap between knowing English and feeling English. You want to show your true personality, your intelligence, and your humor, but the language acts as a wall, not a bridge. But what if I told you that the difference between you and a native speaker isn't about memorizing more obscure words from a dictionary? Hello, I'm Thomas. Welcome to the Learn Speak English podcast. Today, we are going to dismantle that wall. We aren't just learning words today. We are learning the music and the glue that holds native speech together. We are going to uncover the bridge phrases, those essential chunks of language that allow you to buy time, soften your opinions, and sound sophisticated without thinking about grammar rules. Why listen to me? I have spent the last 15 years coaching professionals, CEOs, doctors, engineers, who felt exactly like you do now. By using the method we will practice today, I have watched them transform from hesitant speakers into commanding communicators in a matter of weeks. Here is our promise for today. By the end of this episode, you will have a toolkit of 30 high-level phrases. But more importantly, you will understand the psychology behind why they work, so you can stop translating and start connecting. Before we dive in, I want to ask you a question, and I want you to answer it honestly to yourself right now. Are you ready to stop studying English and start living it? If the answer is yes, nod your head. Physically nod. Excellent. You have just made a commitment to your fluency. Let's begin. Let's talk briefly about the brain. When a native speaker is having a conversation, they're not translating or thinking about whether the structure is subject or verb. That would be way too slow. The brain cannot process grammar rules in real-time conversation efficiently. Native speakers speak in chunks. We use prefabricated blocks of language. When I want to give an opinion, I don't build the sentence from scratch. I pull a block off the shelf that says, "As far as I'm concerned." And then I just add my idea at the end. This is the secret to fluency. It's not speed, it's efficiency. Today, we are going to use a technique called active shadowing. This isn't just mindlessly repeating. I want you to become an actor. When you hear the phrase, "Copy my emotion," "Copy my melody." If my voice goes up, yours goes up. We need to trick your brain into feeling that these words are yours. We're going to focus on 3 key areas where non-native speakers often face challenges. 1. Expressing sophisticated opinions. This means sharing complex or well-thought-out views in a way that's clear and natural, without overthinking the language. 2. Managing the flow, stalling. This refers to how to keep the conversation going smoothly, even when you need a moment to think. It's about knowing what to say when you're not sure what to say next. 3. Diplomatic disagreement. This is the skill of disagreeing politely and tactfully, without sounding rude or confrontational. This morning, I recorded several real-life examples with our colleague Carol, which I'll be showing you to make everything clearer. Let's start with opinions. Most students stick to "I think" or "in my opinion." There is nothing wrong with these, but they are repetitive and, frankly, a bit boring. They don't command authority. If you are in a business meeting and you say, "I think this is good," it sounds weak. But if you say, "I'm fully convinced that this is the right way forward," you sound like a leader. Let's listen to a conversation between Carol and me. We are discussing a new marketing plan. Notice how we introduce our ideas.
Thomas, have you seen the new proposal for the summer campaign?
I have. To be honest, I haven't given it much thought until now, but looking at the numbers, it seems risky.
Really? From my perspective, this is the best course of action. We need to be aggressive if we want to beat the competition.
I see that. But if you ask me, we need to look at the bigger picture. The budget is already tight. It seems to me that we are overlooking a crucial detail regarding the staffing costs. Did you hear that? We didn't just throw facts at each other. We signaled our mental state. When I said, "To be honest, I haven't given it much thought until now," I was lowering expectations, buying myself protection in case my opinion wasn't perfect. When Carol said, "From my perspective," she was taking ownership. Now, it is your turn. We are going to drill these phrases. I will say the phrase, leave a pause for you to repeat, and then I will say it again. Listen and repeat. From my perspective, this is the best course of action. Repeat. Stress the word perspective. It shows you are claiming the view. Try again. From my perspective, this is the best course of action. Listen and repeat. As far as I'm concerned, the matter is already settled. Repeat. Listen and repeat. As far as I'm concerned, the matter is already settled. I'm inclined to agree with you on that particular point. Repeat. Inclined is a beautiful, soft word. It means you are leaning towards them. It builds connection. Try again. I'm inclined to agree with you on that particular point. Listen and repeat. To be honest, I haven't given it much thought until now. Repeat. To be honest, I haven't given it much thought until now. Listen and repeat. If you ask me, we need to look at the bigger picture. Repeat. If you ask me, we need to look at the bigger picture. Listen and repeat. It seems to me that we are overlooking a crucial detail. Repeat. It seems to me that we are overlooking a crucial detail. Listen and repeat. Generally speaking, people tend to avoid difficult conversations. Repeat. Generally speaking, people tend to avoid difficult conversations. Listen and repeat. I'm fully convinced that this is the right way forward. Repeat. I'm fully convinced that this is the right way forward. Listen and repeat. I'd go along with that view to a certain extent. Repeat. I'd go along with that view to a certain extent. Listen and repeat. There is no doubt in my mind that we can achieve this. Repeat. There is no doubt in my mind that we can achieve this. How did that feel? A bit strange? That's normal. I have a student, Marco from Italy, who told me he felt fake using these phrases at first. He said, "Thomas, I sound like the Queen." But he tried using phrase "I'm fully convinced that this is the right way forward" in a presentation last week. He wrote to me saying his boss stopped checking his phone and actually looked at him. The language grabbed attention. I want you to pause this audio for 10 seconds. Think of a topic you are passionate about, maybe football, cooking, or politics. Choose one of the phrases above and say a sentence out loud about that topic. Right now. Do it and leave the result in the comments. I'm looking forward to reading it. Good. You have just moved from passive listening to active creation. That is where the magic happens. Now, let's address the biggest fear of the non-native speaker, the silence. Someone asks you a complex question. Your brain freezes. You need 3 seconds to find the vocabulary. If you stay silent, you look confused. If you say, you look unsure. You need stallers. These are phrases that mean absolutely nothing, but they make you sound intelligent while your brain is working in the background. They are the loading screens of conversation. Let's hear Carol and me again. I'm going to put Carol on the spot with a difficult question. So Carol, regarding the budget cuts, exactly how much are we planning to save in Q4?
Let me see if I've got this straight. You're asking specifically about the fourth quarter projections.
Exactly.
Right. Mind you, I'm not saying it's impossible, but let me put it this way. It's not as easy as it sounds. We have several variables to consider.
Did you see what Carol did? She didn't have the answer immediately. She bought herself about 6 seconds of thinking time. She used, "Let me see if I've got this straight." She gained 3 seconds. She used, "Let me put it this way." She gained 2 seconds. She sounded in control, even though she was stalling. This is a superpower. Now, let's listen to and repeat these types of phrases that will help you buy time to respond more naturally and fluently. Listen to the rhythm. These phrases should be said slowly. You are buying time. Don't rush them. Listen and repeat. Let me see if I've got this straight. Repeat. Let me see if I've got this straight. Could you elaborate on that a little bit more? Repeat. This puts the pressure back on the other person to talk. Try again. Could you elaborate on that a little bit more? What I'm trying to say is that it's more complicated than it looks. Repeat. What I'm trying to say is that it's more complicated than it looks. That's a fair point, however, we must consider the cost. Repeat. That's a fair point, however, we must consider the cost. Moving on to the next topic, let's discuss the timeline. Repeat. Moving on to the next topic, let's discuss the timeline. Let me put it this way, it's not as easy as it sounds. Repeat. Let me put it this way, it's not as easy as it sounds. Mind you, I'm not saying it's impossible. Repeat. Mind you is very British. It means please note or don't get me wrong. Try again. Mind you, I'm not saying it's impossible. Speaking of which, have you heard the latest news? Repeat. Speaking of which, have you heard the latest news? Hold on a second. I think we're getting off track. Repeat. Hold on a second. I think we're getting off track. All things considered, it was a very productive meeting. Repeat. All things considered, it was a very productive meeting. I want you to imagine a scenario. You are in an interview. The interviewer asks you a question you didn't prepare for. Instead of panic, you smile, look them in the eye, and say, "That's a fair point. However, I think we need to look at the bigger picture." You will look confident. You will look fluent. Are you repeating these out loud? Or are you just listening? Remember, your mouth has muscle memory. If you don't physically speak, your muscles won't remember the shape of the words when you need them. Don't cheat yourself out of this improvement. We arrive at the final, and perhaps most important section, diplomacy. In English-speaking cultures, especially the UK, Canada, and parts of the US, we rarely say no, you are wrong. That is considered aggressive and rude. It breaks the social contract. We value likability. If people like you, they listen to you. If you are blunt, they shut down. So, how do we tell someone they are wrong without making them hate us? We use the sandwich method. Softener with disagreement and reason. Let's listen to a disagreement about a restaurant choice.
We should definitely go to that new Italian place. It has 5 stars.
I see where you're coming from, but I have my doubts. The last time we went there, the service was terrible.
That may be true, but we need to consider that they have a new chef now.
I appreciate your point of view, although I see it differently. I'd rather go somewhere we know is good. Let's agree to disagree on this specific issue and go to the Thai place. Notice the elegance? I see where you're coming from. It validates Carol's feelings before I crush her idea. This is emotional intelligence applied to linguistics. Now let's move on to practicing this last part. Focus on your tone here. It must be soft, respectful, but firm. Listen and repeat. I couldn't agree more with what you just said. Repeat. I couldn't agree more with what you just said. That's exactly how I feel about it. Repeat. That's exactly how I feel about it. I see where you're coming from, but I have my doubts. Repeat. I see where you're coming from, but I have my doubts. I'm afraid I have to disagree with you there. Repeat. Here, I'm afraid doesn't mean you are scared. It is a politeness marker. It means I am sorry to tell you. Try again. I'm afraid I have to disagree with you there. That may be true, but we need to consider the alternatives. Repeat. That may be true, but we need to consider the alternatives. I appreciate your point of view, although I see it differently. Repeat. I appreciate your point of view, although I see it differently. You've hit the nail on the head with that observation. Repeat. It means you are exactly correct. Try again. You've hit the nail on the head with that observation. I'm in two minds about this decision. Repeat. Use this when you are undecided. It shows you are weighing the options deeply. Try again. I'm in two minds about this decision. Let's agree to disagree on this specific issue. Repeat. Let's agree to disagree on this specific issue. There might be some truth to that, but it's not the whole story. Repeat. There might be some truth to that, but it's not the whole story. I want to know about your culture. Is it common to be direct? Or do you have to be diplomatic like this? Scroll down to the comments section right now. I want you to finish this sentence. In my country, when we disagree, we usually. I read every single comment. I am genuinely curious to see the differences among our listeners. It helps me create better content for you. Take a deep breath. You have just drilled 30 of the most powerful phrases in the English language. You might be thinking, Thomas, this is great, but will I remember them? Here is the truth about learning. It is not about intensity, it is about consistency. Think of these phrases as seeds. Today, we planted them. If you walk away now and never think about them again, they will wither. But if you water them, just a little bit, they will grow into a massive tree of fluency. Here's how you water them. The action plan in 3 steps. 1. Don't try to learn all 30. That is overwhelming. Pick 3 from today's session. Just 3. Write them on a sticky note and put it on your computer monitor or your bathroom mirror. 2. Use them deliberately. Tomorrow, force yourself to use one of them in a conversation, an email, or even talking to yourself in the shower. 3. Shadow this episode again. Download this episode. Listen to it while you are commuting, washing dishes, or at the gym. Let the repetition sink into your subconscious. I know you are busy. I know you don't have time to study English for hours. That is why this method is perfect for you. You don't need extra time. You just need to listen while you do other things. It requires the least amount of effort for the maximum return. If this episode gave you value, if you learned just one new thing today, I have a small favor to ask. It takes seconds, but it means the world to us. Please hit the subscribe button. Why? Because next week, we are releasing an episode on business idioms that impress interviews. It is exclusive content that I usually only share with my private paying clients, but I'm giving it to you for free on this podcast. You do not want to miss that. Also, if you have a friend or colleague who is also stuck on the Intermediate Plateau, share this episode with them. Be the person who helps them break through. They will thank you for it. Okay, here is your final exam. I want you to pick one phrase from today, your absolute favorite, and write a sentence using it in the comments below. For example, as far as I'm concerned, pizza is the best food in the world. I will be responding to the best sentences personally. I'm Thomas. Remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be understood. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Cheerio.